Greetings. Hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy, and that you are thriving. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it, that you're just living your best life, enjoying everything that you're doing every minute of every day that you're doing it, whatever it is. This is the New Thought Media Network. I'm Ken Ludwig, and you are watching Vibrant Living. And as always, we will start our day off here with a little reading from Dr. Ernest Holmes. And let's see what he has to say for us today in this thing called You. I now accept all that I have hoped for and believed in. There is nothing in me that can doubt that good will make its appearance in my experience. There is nothing in me that can dissipate my faith or dim its clear realization. I see in everything that which I know to be true about myself. Therefore, everyone I think of is blessed by my thought. You know, that's really a good one. It's like Holmes says bad ones, right? But this is really a good one. I'm going to read this one again. I now accept that all I have hoped for and believed in. There is nothing in me that can doubt that good will make its appearance in my experience. There is nothing in me that can dissipate my faith or dim its clear realization. I see in everything that which I know to be true about myself. Therefore, everyone I think of is blessed by my thought. I just love that second to last line, man. That is like, I see in everyone that which I know to be true about myself. I always close the book after I read that. Today, I'm not going to, because I may refer back to that. I see in everyone that which I know to be true about myself. Wow, that's enormous. You know, what you know to be true about yourself, when? Now, in this moment, every day, in any second, what you know to be true about yourself. If the truth of yourself right now is that you are sad, you will see all around you sadness. If your truth is that you see joy, you know joy is the truth of who you are, then you will see joy. Beauty is what you will see if that's what you believe you are. And it's interesting. I was about an hour ago, I was thinking, well, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today. And the truth is, I don't really ever need to know what I'm going to talk about. I read from this thing called You, and when I do that, almost always there's a subject there, and I can take that and make that into an entire show. But I was reading my dailies, the daily readings that I do in my meditation and prayer work every day. And I've not been reading my dailies, and I've not been reading them on purpose. I've just been kind of leaving them out and just doing my meditation and prayer work. And today I just sat down and read the meditations, and it's interesting. I read them for May 8th, which is what I thought today was, and today, of course, is May 9th. So I was wrong. But one of the things I read in the Daily Stoic was the idea that everything we experience is a direct result of our reasoned choices. We think about what it is we're doing, or what we're wandering through, or what we're reading, or who we're interacting with, and we make reasoned choices about what is next. What are we going to do? When are we going to do it? And from those reasoned choices, we have our experience. And interestingly enough, that's also the source of whether or not it's good or not so good. In fact, in the Daily Stoic, they refer to it as good or evil. Now, they always use the small e evil, which is the only evil I believe in. I don't think there is a capital E evil. And what I mean by that is the devil or Satan. But we get to decide that always. Whether it's good or bad is our decision, and it can always be traced back to what were my reasoned choices. And what I see in those reasoned choices is what I will experience in my life, and it's also how I will see everyone. That line from what we just read from Ernest Holmes. That's how I will see them. That's how I will recognize them. I'm feeling a real sense of gratitude today. And I'm feeling gratitude for being alive. There's a family that I grew up with. And by the way, I can see you folks are out there. Please make a comment or ask a question. Just say hi. Let me know you're out there. It's always nice to know who's watching. And I don't know who's watching. I can see that there's people out there. I can't see who it is until you make a comment or like it or put a heart on it or whatever. But anyway, it's a family I grew up with. My dad served in World War II. He was a fighter pilot. He flew off the carrier, the Bonhomme Richard, in the South Pacific, and he and his squadron bombed Japan at night I don't know that I've ever talked about this on the show, but it always fascinated me that my father would describe, in the rare occasions you could get a World War II vet to talk about World War II. He would describe how they would go and they would do their bombing runs and they would come back to try and find and land on a totally blacked out carrier in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Remember, they didn't have radar. It was World War II. They used a slide rule. They used a compass to determine where the ship was. And then the only light they saw was the guy on the fantail with the flashlight directing them onto the transom of the boat. He had a friend that he flew with, Vinnie Cullen. Vinnie Cullen, we knew as kids as Uncle Vinny. His wife was Aunt Anna Marie. And Anna Marie and Vinny were there. They were people, literally, we grew up with them. And the interesting thing was they had, after the war and after they got married to my father, to my wife, my mom, and Vinny to Anna Marie, after they did that, both women got pregnant. And it was their firstborn child. Their firstborn children was me, Ken Jr., and Vinny Jr. And we were born on the 20th of December was me. The 21st was Vinny. We were born a day apart. Made the families just that much closer. And then they went on, the Cullens went on, there were 11 children in the family. And there were 9 children in my family. I'm the oldest of 9. Vinny was the oldest of 11. And I was just reflecting today. This is I got a text message from my sister Mary, and her husband John had found just a little piece in one of the local papers. I don't even know which paper it was, but one of the Cullen kids who I knew growing up, I didn't know him well. He was younger than me, and I knew him by name. I really didn't know him. He was just part of the family. Tim. And Tim, I guess, is he has a wife, and her name escapes me right now. But they have 6 children. One of their children is a 28-year-old son who is in the Navy. He's an ensign in the Navy, I believe, an ensign, about to become engaged to a lovely young lady. And the 2 of them were killed within the last week in a motorcycle accident in Washington State. And it was part of a reflection. It's a reflection around this family, the Cullen family. I mentioned their oldest son was Vinny. Vinny was a day younger than me, and Vinny passed away at like 62 from Lou Gehrig's disease. They had a sister, Janice. Janice was, my only recollection of Janice was that she's just an amazingly beautiful young lady. She was a beautiful young woman, and she actually got to be friends with my best friend who lives out in San Diego. There was like a vague relation there. We all went to Catholic schools at different times and blah, blah, blah. But my friend Fran out in San Diego, he knew Janice as well. Janice passed away from cancer a few years ago. And they also had a sister who died at a very young age, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5, from spinal meningitis back in the day when that was kind of an incurable thing. And one of my sisters in this text message stream around the death of this young fella, one of my sisters just made mention of the fact that my family has suffered so little loss in that regard. And it's a little unnerving almost when you think about it, but everything has happened in the order in which you think it should happen, if you will. Okay. My grandparents passed away one by one. My father died, then my mother died, and my aunts and uncles all passed away here and there and everywhere. And all of my cousins are alive. As far as I know, all of their children are alive. All of my siblings are alive. I'm 73 years old. My youngest sibling is my sister Amy. Amy's I'm gonna be 74. Amy's gonna be 58 years old. All of my nieces and nephews are alive, and now grandnieces and nephews are all alive, or great nieces and nephews, whatever the hell you call them. I don't know what that is, but they're all alive. And I was just reflecting on how grateful I am that we've not experienced that sense of loss that, what in my mind comes out as out of order, where kids die before parents, and it just, you've heard your whole life that was unnatural. That's not the way it's supposed to happen. Well, It happens to way too many people. I also read just before I sat down to read the dailies to try and get some inspiration. There's a woman who I do not know. Her name is Lucia. I do not know her. I've never met her. I've never talked to her. But she a couple of years ago, well, not a couple, I guess maybe 2020, she was having some health issues that she didn't describe. And she wasn't really, she kind of said she wasn't prepared to describe those health issues. And I know her from Facebook. That's all I know her from. And I started to include her in my prayer work. And I let her know I would be including her in my prayer work. And I have now been praying for her for whatever it is, 3 or 4 years. I have included her in my prayer work. And today, for the very first time, I read a post of hers that goes back to, I think, 2022, where she actually did describe what happened to her. She had thyroid cancer. And she has not recovered totally from that. And there are still treatments. There's, I guess, cancer still in her body, and she's still being treated. And it's years later. This is a young woman. She's maybe, I don't know, late 30s, maybe early 40s, quite beautiful, very talented. She's a painter, a photographer. She's got a rich, full, creative life. And she has been struggling with this. It's taken her livelihood, it's taken her home, it's taken all of her savings, it's taken everything. And once again, I just stop and think, we've not had that in my family. Yeah, my parents got sick, and my grandparents got sick, and my aunts and uncles got sick, but they got sick when they were, well, I guess the earliest one was my maternal grandfather. He died in his late 60s, but a lot of people died in their late 60s from that generation from one reason and one reason only: smoking. He had lung cancer, took him out. Everybody smoked. They smoked a lot. But my grandparents, for the most part, lived for their generation a long life. My father died early from something weird, but my mother lived into her the second half of her 80s. Her older sister lived to be into her early 90s, and so again, it sounds silly when I say it, but it happened in order. It happened the way it's supposed to happen. And I guess the whole point of this explanation is my sense of gratitude. I went through a health thing here just not too long ago. Excuse me, and I was very concerned. And I won't go into the details, but the bottom line was there was some concern about the health of my kidneys. And through testing and experimentation with what I was putting in through my kidneys, we came to the point where the nephrologist I was working with, she just told me point blank, your kidneys are perfect. Whatever else is going on is going on. Part of it's just being an old man. Part of it's blah, 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 blah. I had thyroid issues in my 40s. They're gone. And I took care of them myself. I took care of them holistically. The doctor's remedies didn't do much of anything to make me feel better about it. So I took care of that myself. But it's about being grateful. And when you are grateful, we'll go back to what I read from Holmes here for that one sentence. And I can't see it without my reading light that you guys can't see. It's underneath here. I see in everyone that which I know to be true about myself. I see in everyone that sense of gratitude because I know it to be true about myself. You've heard a million different times in your life, an attitude of gratitude is most salutary, is what Ernest Holmes said. Best to start every single day grateful. I mean, the first words I say every single morning of my life are, good morning, God. Thank you for this day. And I don't care what your concept of God is. I use the word God in her fabulous book here that I was just reading before the show. Almost everything Anne Lamott does godly. If you listen to me, God to me is I use the acronym Guidance on Demand. Her acronym is Good Orderly Direction, which I think is very good. Good orderly direction. But yeah, the attitude, just being grateful. And in that gratitude, I get to see that in everyone else. I get to see that in other people. I don't know. Do you have a thought? You're out there. I can see you. I can see there's people watching. But unless you comment, I don't know what you're doing. Um, so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. I do have, I did want to show you this again. Um, Lisa went to this, my beloved Lisa, she went to a book event of some kind for a bookstore called Bookmarks in Winston-Salem here in North Carolina. And there was a little contest, and she entered the contest and she won the contest. And the contest was a year's worth of free tickets to every event that they have. And not only does she get free tickets, she gets 2 free tickets, so I get to go. And each participant gets a free book from the author they're going to listen to. So the first one we went to was Henry Winkler, and I got a copy of his book that I absolutely loved. It's called Being Henry, the Fonz and Beyond. And it was a great, great read because Henry Winkler is just a fabulous storyteller. We went to see him, like I said, and he was just a joy to listen to. And then the next one we missed, and that was Stacey Abrams, which really bummed me out. But we were away, we were traveling, and I mean, Stacey Abrams is just kind of a political hero of mine, and it would have been wonderful to see her, but we didn't get to do that. The next one was just a few weeks ago, and it was Anne Lamott. And before we went to it, I was reading her book. Can I get that in there? Almost Everything. Notes on Hope. And I got about halfway through the book, and it was a library book, and I had to go back. So I sent it back, and before we could get it back, it went out again. So we had to put it on the reserve list. I just got it back, and I'm gonna finish it before it has to go. It has to go back again. Great, great, great book, just about being hopeful, about being grateful, about things that make us realize how great we have it, and to hope for the same for others. The book that we got when we went to see her was called Somehow, and why can't I ever do this right and then still see the book? And you can see it says Thoughts on Love, an outstanding read. I'm not quite halfway through this, and you people know, if you're paying attention to me, I love to read. I'm a painfully slow reader, and I'm reading 6 books at once, and I just love doing that. I can decide if I want. There are days when I sit down and read something from all 6. There are days I sit down and I only read one. Just however I feel is how I feel. And that's what I do. So I wanted to get that in for Anne Lamott. I want you to always remember, that's it for me. That's all I got for you today. But I want you to know that New Thought Media is a nonprofit organization. Please go to ntmedia.org and click on donate. We are immensely grateful for everything you decide you want to give us. It keeps us alive. If you like this show, if you like the network, if you like what we do, if you like what we're going to continue to do and try to expand on, please help us along with a little donation. Always remember that this show is brought to you by HempWorks. HempWorks is the maker of the greatest, most extensive CBD and hemp-infused line of products on the planet, the #1 direct-to-consumer distributor of CBD products. I will hook you up with the cleanest, purest, most potent formulations of CBD in particular that you'll find anywhere in the world. The tinctures come in full spectrum, which has the legal limit of 0.3% THC, or broad spectrum, which has no THC whatsoever. If by some chance you're one of those people who has a very rare THC allergy, or if you have a very, very strict drug test for work, then there's no THC in there, so there's nothing to be discovered on a test. Comes in 3 concentrations, 500, 750, and 1500 milligrams. And I don't even remember how many flavors we got now, 7 or 8 or 9 different flavors. You won't find that anywhere. And also just a whole menu of CBD and hemp-infused products. This is our coffee, 5 milligrams of CBD in every cup of coffee, along with some chaga mushrooms, just immensely healthy and good for you, for your coffee. HempWorks brings this to you every single week, is the sponsor of Vibrant Living. And if you want to reach me, please send me an email at teamrockitnow@gmail.com. I'm always thrilled to hear from you, and I will get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. If you have any thoughts or comments that you want to put on any of the places where you are viewing this, right now we stream this in 4 different channels. We stream on the YouTube channel for myself and for the New Thought Media Network, and also the Facebook pages for myself and New Thought Media Network. If you make any comments on those, I will get to them. Also, I'm not sure which ones of them all show up on my StreamYard comments page here. So I don't know one way or the other if you're out there and you're commenting, and if it's on one of the pages that I don't get sent to me directly, then I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I love your comments. I'm always thrilled to get them. And as always, I'm immensely grateful for the great gift of your time and your attention. I wish you all the love and all the blessings that the universe has to offer. I hope you will join me every single Thursday at 2 o'clock Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And until the next time, my friends, namaste.